Welcome to Life Unscripted. I'm your host, Aurelia, and today we have a guest here today by the name of Brittany Wilson.
Hello.
Thank you for being on the show today, Brittany.
Yes, thank you for having me. Can I call you when I call you?
You can call me
Aurelia. Okay, thanks,
Nikki
Aurelia.
Aurelia.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oh man. Well, currently I work in social work, the field of social work. I started off as a direct care provider. What do they call them now? Direct care workers or caregivers and home caregivers. Started off as that. Worked as a direct caregiver for man from start to finish, probably about 20 years.
Wow.
All the while, though, after probably about the 10th year, I started incorporating different jobs into having that same job. So I worked that job and another job. The other job was I worked at a place called Brain Balance, was helped children who had cognitive issues. I worked at a psych hospital, all again while I was having the home care position as well. So I did that for a very long time. And then went on to get my degree because I started there. I started as a caregiver at 19. So second year of college, making a little bit of money. And, I'm like, I want an apartment, I want a car, I want all this stuff. And, kind of got off track with finishing school. So eventually I did finish school. I graduated with a degree in psychology.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's when I officially started my social work career. But currently, I work as a training instructor, training the direct care workers on the different certifications that they need to maintain their license. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
It's vast. A lot of things you could do in that field, and I'm happy that I started where I started, especially with being so young and starting as that.
Wow. And so, how long have you been in that position?
As a trainer, 4 years, 5 years, 4 or 5 years. I feel like. Are my glasses fogging up? I feel like they are. Talking.
You all right.
But yeah, it's been about 5 years. Almost 5 years.
Okay, so you're not new to that position. Wow. Wow. So when someone asks you what exactly does a training instructor do, how would you explain that?
Training instructor is the role that I have currently as a training instructor that's working in this particular sector. Train social workers, direct care workers on the courses they need to maintain their license and certifications in their positions. Wow. So supports coordinators, direct care workers, home health aides, CNAs. I teach courses that teach people how to work with people, teach people how to pass medications, teach a CPR course. So all of those different skills that you need in order to be successful in the position.
Wow. That sounds really, really interesting.
It is on so many levels.
I mean, you come across a whole a variety of healthcare workers.
Absolutely.
So wow.
Daily, different kind. Ones that I know that are going to make it. Ones that I know that may not or need to be in a different area of expertise. So
really.
And as a trainer, I feel like I'm able to tell them that in a way, right? Not maybe directly, unless I have that relationship with them.
I was just going to say, like,
this is not for you. Move on. It's not that bold, but I wish I could be with some of them.
Oh I know. I mean, you're straightforward, Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can't play with healthcare, You're really, in these positions, you're having people's lives, entire lives in your hands. So
absolutely.
It takes a certain kind of person to do that successfully.
Wow. Would you say that that's like one of the hardest part of your job, being able to have to tell someone that this isn't working out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's sad because especially direct care workers, right? You don't necessarily have to have any prior education or background, just a high school diploma to start the job, right? And then a lot of the training comes from being on the job training. So having to tell someone, you know what, this attitude that you're carrying, you might need to, in so many words, get that in check first before you take on someone else's life. Because you literally, quite literally, have to drop your feelings and the things that you're feeling that day at the door so that you can help this person who's in need. So
Absolutely.
if you're carrying all the things that are making you upset, making you mad, making you cry, this might not be the position for you at this moment until you take care of you.
And that's a big thing. Excuse me, working in the healthcare field, people coming into the healthcare world with
Yes.
a attitude. Patients are looking to you for help.
Yes, they're
you
completely
expect
vulnerable.
the patient to have an attitude because they're here, and often they do because they don't want to be here. They're sick, they're mad. They don't have health care. They have all these things going on in their head. It's so overwhelming for them already. And
absolutely.
then you're coming in with everything that you had at home.
Exactly. And this is the position that we sign up for. Like, this is something that you volunteer to do. Yeah. Whereas this person who needs your care, this is their life. There's no, I'm done with this. Like you could do, not for that person. So you have to have a disposition, a certain disposition in order to be successful.
Absolutely. And if you lack compassion, it's definitely not the field for you at all.
Nikki, and how many people just on a day-to-day basis do we come across, let alone these folks who are on their job, right? Yeah. Lacking compassion, lacking concern for anybody else other than themselves, and that's just not going to work in this position. So
it's not
having to tell someone that it's heartbreaking, but for me, I feel like I've worked in this field for 20 plus years for a reason. I want the people who are being serviced and being cared for to actually have that care.
Absolutely.
Somebody else who has a nice position, nice disposition can come along and take your job, and I want that to happen. Absolutely. Even though that might sound, a little abrasive, but
no, and then also thinking about that, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. At some point, you're going to be in that bed. At some point, it's going to be your mom or your sister or your child. Do you want to encounter somebody like that?
Absolutely.
Coming in the room with an attitude, with a chip on their shoulder.
Exactly.
They haven't even heard your story yet.
Nothing. So you're carrying all your stuff, your junk, and putting that onto someone else who needs your care. That's not fair.
It's not.
Not fair. And there's a place for you too. If you don't have the compassion, we'll find you a place to work. This is not the place.
Behind the scenes.
Exactly. Where you can throw something if you need to and it be acceptable.
Absolutely.
Not in someone's home,
and
though.
And then even when you think about the healthcare world, and let's think about the environment being a hospital environment. Even if you're not directly providing patient care to a patient, you still have a duty, to have compassion, because even if you are a housekeeper and you're walking in the patient's room and stuff, you coming in there with an attitude, you don't know what type of information has been told to this person, having a smile, wearing that smile, it really sounds cliche.
Yes, and it sounds cheesy and simple.
It's really what needs to be done.
Absolutely, Nikki.
Even if you don't feel that, just fake it, because that person needs to see a smile on your face.
Absolutely. Like I said, as service providers, we're supposed to be actors and actresses too.
Absolutely.
Because we need to be a certain kind of person for that person that we're caring for.
I agree.
And if you're not able to do that, then this is just not the position for you. It's more than just coming into someone's home and helping them keep their home tidy and prepare a meal. You have to be a certain kind of person.
You do.
So.
You do.
Yeah.
What made you choose psychology as a college major?
Ooh.
Tell us about that.
That's a whole thing. At first, I started off as a nursing major.
Really?
Yes, Nikki. And I did all of the pre-course work to get into nursing school. It had now come to the time where I needed to get some on-hand experience. So I had a friend. Actually, this was a friend. And she's still my friend to this day. She's probably about almost 80 years old.
Really?
Yes, she is the mother of one of the guys that I was taking care of.
Okay.
And she had a friend who was a nurse. And she asked her friend if I could come and shadow her, because I was trying to get into nursing school and I needed this experience on my resume. So luckily, the hospital that she worked at was right down the street from the home in which the son who I was providing care for lived.
Okay.
So I would leave from work and go straight to the hospital to shadow his godmother. Nikki, when I got on that floor, and this was in the obstetrics unit, I got on the floor and I saw how mean those nurses were. it was like dog eat dog. The first day I was like, okay, maybe it was just an off day, right? Man, I shadowed her for 3 weeks. And I kid you not, every single day of those 3 weeks, I was like, I can't do this. This is not what I want to do for the next 4 years, being in this type of environment with these ladies acting in the way they were acting. And because I was a student, you know, you can hear and see everything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm privy to the stuff that she was saying about her when she was, I mean, it was just drama. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do this. Had a whole anxiety attack. I was in my brother's room. I remember that. At the end of the shadowing, I was like, I don't want to go to nursing school because I don't want to be a nurse. So I had that panic attack. When I came to from the
oh my God.
So dramatic, right? It was real though. I remember it like it was yesterday. And my brother was like, he just looked at me in my face. This is my year. I have 4 older brothers. The one that's right above me. He looked at me and he said, you know you don't have to do this, right? And it was just like a light bulb for me because being the youngest, the only girl, I've always taken directives from all my brothers, my parents, and you do what you've been told. So here I am. I probably was about maybe 21.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to do this then. So when I say I was scared, everybody, my whole family was disappointed, but that was my first lesson in, Brittany, you got to do what's good for you.
Oh my God.
21 years old.
So nursing was out.
Nursing was out at 21.
Now, wait a minute now. So you saw these ladies and it was a bad experience for you based on what you heard and what you observed.
Yes, nothing towards me directly. Okay. Just being in the environment was like,
So now, did you have a certain expectation when you walked in?
I did. I thought nurses were going to be like the salt of the earth, sweet and cheek pinching and hi honey and sweetie and all over the place, right? Not only to me, but to the patients. Okay. And just the sweetest people you ever met in your life. And that quickly changed my perspective. Wow. And it's funny because every experience that I've had after that with nurses or a group of nurses kind of was like it confirmed what I saw those 3 weeks that I was shadowing. Yeah. I was like, ooh, I don't like this environment.
Oh my God.
And then of course when you get older I meet more nurses and they're like, yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is where I am at this hospital. That's the way it is over here at this facility that I work at. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't pick that.
I've heard a lot of stories. I've heard a lot. I've read a lot. I love to read blogs and all kinds of things, and I've heard a lot of things from nursing students in terms of being bullied on the job as a new nurse, all kinds of stuff. It's real. It's real.
And some of them are proud of it. Like, yeah, we eat our, what's the saying? We eat our kids or eat our, whatever it is.
Well, but whatever
our young, eat the young or something like that. Yeah. Just, just everything that I've heard, something's good, but I hear a lot of bad stuff. And I'm actually going to have a lot of nurses join the panel. I'm excited to see.
Them because, I want to really get some more insight to what goes on in the world of nursing.
I cannot wait to watch those interviews.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah. I couldn't imagine doing that every single day and being in that atmosphere. Even if you're doing the work, right, because you have the great heart, you became a nurse for X amount of reasons or these reasons over here. When you're in that environment, it pulls away from the compassion and the drive and what sent you there in the first place. And so I saw enough to know that I didn't want to try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I'm a Cancer, so I'm soft. I was like, they do this.
You know what? And it isn't for everybody. Even the medical field, it is not for everybody. So, it takes a special kind of person to be in the medical field because that field is so unpredictable. Yes. You never know what you're going to encounter.
And because of that, you have to be solid in self, which a lot of people unfortunately aren't.
You do. And they aren't, and a lot of people are, because I know on Instagram a lot of stuff is trending with nurses and stuff. There's a lot of nursing videos and things like that, and I can't wait to get the nurses on here to talk about that.
Well, I'll bring you some.
I gotta ask. So, how did you go from studying psychology to working in social work?
That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so
the transition.
Yes. So once I decided I didn't want to do nursing, right? I went to my advisor. I said, you know what? I know that I'm preparing to go to nursing school, but I don't want to do that. So he's like, okay, let's take a look at some options here. We looked at all the options of the different degrees that I would be able to slide into that or fit into that wouldn't be, more coursework.
Okay.
So psychology was first on the list. And because I had taken all of these science classes, I would be able to graduate with a Bachelor of Science in psychology instead of arts.
So you
I was
have
like, that was cool.
the anatomy and physiology.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Biology, A&P, microbiology, chemistry 1 and 2, all of those. Physiology, yes, everything. So I transferred that over into psychology. And I had to take maybe 2 extra psychology courses, and I loved it. When I say fell in love, I wanted to stay in school just to take more classes. I was like,
so
don't do that.
Home.
I found my home in psychology. Loved it, still to this day. So I was happy at that. And so I graduated with a degree in psychology, and from there, I, like I said, stayed with the home healthcare position. And went on to do other things. I worked in a psych hospital dealing with.
How was that?
Oh man.
Tell us.
Very, very interesting. I almost said where I was, but those of you who see me, if you in the Detroit area, you know where we were. But working in a psych hospital with adults and it was outpatient. So it was like a revolving door. Every day we had different intakes with people who we might have seen 3 weeks ago, right? Who were off their medications and are back because of an episode. It was fun. It was so fun. That probably was one of the most fun jobs I've ever had. My position was a mental health technician.
Okay.
So we would work on the floor. And little did I know that probably was the start of my training because they were so nice there. My coworkers mostly were men. So they didn't want the girls like breaking up fights and things like that. The women breaking up fights and things like that. Okay. So our focus was mainly on, having group discussions with the people who were there, the patients. So I really enjoyed that. And like I said, that was my, a taste into what I would be doing in training. Not knowing it. I have. All in the same family though, under the same umbrella, but different hats. Yep.
Now, so tell us, when you're working in mental health, so how exactly does that work? Like when you, the typical day in mental health, you do intake. So a patient comes in. Kind of walk us through that.
Okay.
They come in, or something?
We evaluate myself with a nurse. So it's a nurse and myself in the room. Asking them questions. It's the paperwork, probably 6, 7, 8 pages of questions to ask. What brought you in? What were you doing? When the police arrested you, what happened here? What medications are you on? Do you remember any medications? Now, some people are able to tell us, but depending on the state that they're in, they might be, hopped up on drugs where they aren't able to verbalize what went on the last 3 days, right? Wow. So it just all depends. You get through that intake process, give the person or patient the clothes that they're to wear for the next 3 days, introduce them to their social worker.
Now you said the next 3 days. So is that a mandatory hold or something?
Minimum days in the outpatient.
72 hours.
Yes. Okay. Once you've been admitted. Okay. 3 days from that admission.
Is that for voluntary or it doesn't matter?
Well, it depends. It depends on if you're compliant with your treatment plan when you get there. Now 3 days, because of where I work, it probably was going to take 3 days in order for them to get acclimated as far as seeing a social worker, having a visit with your doctor, and then being prescribed your medications, right? Okay. So that whole process is probably going to take 3 days. So it had more to do with the company than the person. Exactly. Okay. Right.
Wow. Do you find in doing that, working with mental health patients, I know you said something about, depending on if they're on their medications or off their medications. I know sometimes people can still be on medication and they may need an adjustment or something like
Oh,
that.
for sure. Oftentimes.
And then, so with the people that are not on their medications, what is the main reason that make them want to not take the medications anymore?
It could be side effects. It could be that a person feels out of control when they're on their medications or not like themselves. I've heard a lot of people express that being the reason why they don't want to take medications. Ritalin, for example. If I take this Ritalin, I'm not going to be my, jovial or happy self. Okay, it's going to make me feel too relaxed or too not present.
Yeah.
Right. So it's personality altering, which I think is the reason why people don't want to take it. And that for them, that person, it feels worse than not taking the drug.
Wow. Wow. I know I've encountered quite a bit of psych patients in my EMS.
Because they call 911. They don't know how to. I mean, and we don't have a system here.
There's not enough mental health
support. Yes.
Support. There's not enough facilities. To take people in. So I know oftentimes, they end up in the ER.
Yep.
Until they can find placement, and if not, they're just discharged and they're
back in the streets. Exactly.
Yeah, and I know a lot of patients. I would ask them, not because I was curious, because no one wants to be out of their mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like even if they're on drugs, they still know how they function while they're on drugs versus drugs and being on the medication.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, people, the number one reason I would hear is, suicidal ideation.
Yes.
All the time. So
the medication's causing that. Yeah.
And I can't even imagine that. It's like I'd rather hear voices than to take this medication because I'm gonna want to kill myself.
Exactly. At least these voices I've been listening to for the last 8 years, I know those voices, right? I couldn't imagine having to weigh that, right? Am I going to be this person who I don't know on these medications, or can I deal with who I know I am and what comes with it without being on these medications?
Yeah. And it's a big problem, because, we need more resources for mental health. I know that Detroit is starting to beef up mental health here. There's like facilities. I know I was on Instagram and I came across a post where there's a new mental health facility open for crisis and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I wish I had the information to share it, but I will have it and I'll actually add that to this podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's a 24-hour center too, I believe.
In Detroit.
Yeah, it's in Detroit. Yeah, in the heart of Detroit too. It's just, unfortunate because most of the EMS calls you get, we're talking about on a scale of 100%.
Oh my goodness.
Mainly probably 80% mental health.
Wow.
Because you see that a lot. You deal with that a lot. You're dealing with a lot of people that are on drugs. You're dealing with drug overdoses. You're dealing with,
even
everything.
These days with the kids, the artificial drugs, right, will cause someone to go into psychosis.
Yeah, even just vaping.
Right.
Vaping is causing people to, be tachycardia. They have a very fast heartbeat. Passing out. Just causing, people to have, altered mental status and stuff like that. Even with the marijuana, they're starting to put fentanyl in the marijuana. So it's just a lot of these recreational drugs are just not good to have anymore. They're not what you think they are.
Absolutely.
Even if you're getting fentanyl on the street, it's not what you think. It's not the fentanyl you would get if you were in a medical setting.
Absolutely. It's artificial. They've altered in so many different ways. Making it not even what it once was.
Oh yeah, and I hear the word synthetic a lot.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know, like what fentanyl is actually even used for, and it needs to be monitored. Fentanyl is just it's one of the most dangerous classes, of drugs you can think of. And a lot of people don't understand how serious fentanyl
Absolutely.
is. So, we got, our youth that are out here in the streets, they're coming across things like that. It's really bad out here.
And I actually heard about fentanyl for the first time while working at that psych hospital.
Wow.
I knew nothing about it before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a lot going on and stuff. And one of the things I would ask you too, because you know when you come across people that are using drugs and stuff like that, or even if they're like using alcohol, you know, anything they can find to escape reality.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that most people use drugs or alcohol because they are dealing with some type of mental illness?
Oh yeah.
Because that's why they want to escape.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and it doesn't help that it feels good. The escape feels good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure for a person who has unresolved trauma or even trauma that they haven't even tapped into, that escape feels 10 times better, right? Because there's something that you're feeling without having that drug that you want to escape from. So someone introduced you to it and you took this trip and you love it there, right? So I can imagine that. I mean, even to a person who's in their right mind, right?
Yeah.
If something's bothering you, if there's something that can get you away from that, I could totally understand why a person would say yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate.
It is.
But we do need more resources out here. And even if you're on drugs, you know, and you're seeing this, you know, people that want to go get clean, you know, that is a big step. And, you know, and it goes hand in hand with therapy. And,
yes,
you know,
all
because
of
you have
things.
to, even if you find someone, I know a lot of people are going out and they're asking folks, you know, just walking around the street, you know, hey, do you want to get clean? It's not even just about getting clean. Because first of all, you have to fix the problem.
Yes.
You know,
the roots,
what's causing you,
the underlying root. Exactly.
So what's causing you to not want to be in your world?
Exactly.
You know? And once that's fixed, then you know everything else comes after that. Otherwise, you can get someone clean, but if they're not ready to deal with the problem, then getting them clean is not going to help them. They're going to be right back.
At all. And that's the issue with these outpatient facilities. It's a revolving door, Nikki. Like they'll leave and be okay for the next 3 weeks, and then you know right back in for the same exact reason. Yeah. Back at rock bottom, ground zero.
That's crazy, you know. And they can't, you know. I know a lot of people be like, yeah, well they chose this, that, and the other. You know, I feel like you know that's very insensitive. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of things. You know, a lot of traumas are. I don't want to say they are 100% from childhood, but a lot of issues people dealing with
have stemmed from
childhood.
Yes.
And so, you know, children can't really advocate for themselves as children. And so then, you know, you have kids out here that are going through things and they don't have anybody to advocate for them, to fight for them, you know, or to keep them safe. And they become adults. And then when they become adults, the problems grow.
Absolutely.
You know? That's when it's like, okay, no one's over me anymore, so now what can I do to escape this life?
I want to spread my wings. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's when the drugs and everything else tends to come in because it's like, hey, I don't want to deal with this, so let me find something to take me out of this misery.
Exactly.
You know, I want to forget this, I want to escape it.
Not to mention some people have addictive personalities. So if they've been introduced to a drug at an age where they were highly influential and this drug came into their life and they felt that it was something that, you know, they couldn't live without, that addictive personality is now activated and it's going to be a part of their entire being. Yeah. So many reasons. Gosh.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment when you realized that this was the career path you wanted? And I think you kind of touched on that a little bit when you found your home.
Yes. And leaving off of that nursing floor. Yes, psychology just was very interesting to me. And I remember actually with being a direct care worker myself, I was in one training, I can't remember, I believe it was gentle teaching. And it was like this big old conference where a bunch of Detroit, a bunch of direct care workers from Detroit, Metro Detroit area, we all gathered for a weekend for these trainings, right? Okay. There was one trainer, she was teaching about gentle teaching and what that means to look through the lens of gentle teaching when carrying out your caregiving duties, right?
Now, what does gentle teaching consist of, though?
Gentle teaching consists of tools and a way of doing things. Okay. right? Saying that I'll have to start all the way from way back when in history, but for the people that we now support in the homes that they live in, it was once upon a time where people who were living with disabilities and mental illnesses were placed in the institutions, right? So institutionalized living, which is very much like prison, okay? And it was recommended that this is the type of living that would be beneficial for these people who had various conditions. So long story short, they soon found that that wasn't the case, right? That living in these big institutions was not the way to go. People were being abused and even murdered in some of these cases. So fast forward till about the 90s, into the 90s, where they said gentle teaching is the way to go to help a person when you want to dissipate these behaviors that are unfavorable, hitting, throwing, feces smearing, all that stuff that you would see. So through this idea of gentle teaching, these behaviors would cease. So under no circumstances are we going to restrain someone or, hurt someone in any kind of way. You will be able to make these behaviors go away essentially through gentle teaching, being gentle with how you use your words, the way in which you touch a person, all of these things. So it was a whole conference on that. So I'm just watching this lady in awe, like, yes, that makes so much sense to me. Oh my goodness. And she was a trainer. So I remember thinking to myself, she was a black lady with this buzz cut. She had on a brown suit. She probably was in her 60s. And you could tell she had been doing training for a long time. So she was just kicking it to us like, this is what it is. And I was like, I wouldn't mind doing that, taking this position to that point, right? And I often think about that because now I'm like, here I am. What am I going to do next? I made it to where I wanted to go. So what's next?
Right. Wow.
So yeah, that was my eye moment. Thinking about her back in the day.
That was my first time actually hearing about gentle teaching. I've never heard.
Really? Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it's applicable to work. It's applicable to your personal life. Handling a person in a way gently will warrant you more of what you want.
Yeah,
that's just a fact.
Absolutely, I agree with it. I do. What was your very first job in the field, and what did it teach you?
Oh my guys. Very first job was direct care support. I was working in Beverly Hills. I won't say the name of the place, but I love that job. That's the job that I stayed at for 20 years. I actually severed my ties with that job when COVID came about in 2020 because I didn't want to go in and out of their house while COVID was happening. So
and a lot of people did that. Yeah, COVID was the turning point.
Yeah, exactly. I had to pivot a little bit, and so that was my first job. I have a wonderful relationship with all the guys, 5 men that I took care of. And that home was considered at the time to be a non-licensed home because the guys were relatively independent. So for a while, I was the only staff there. So I was the manager, the direct care worker, everything, all in one.
Wow.
So yeah, that was I enjoyed it. I was only 19. I learned how to cook. Been that job working those men. They're like, you're gonna have to make more than toast and eggs, Brittany. What's this? You're gonna have to try some things out. You want me to call my mom? I can call my mom. You can talk to her. So she can tell you what to make for me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So basically, like, you were running everything,
Doctor's appointments, making sure that they had their schedules together, teaching them how to call the smart bus and set up their own rides. Yes. Because the goal is to grow the independence of the people that you support. I want the people whose lives I come into to be better when I leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I'm walking here and right now you don't know how to schedule your own ride for the smart bus, let me show you how to do it. And let's practice until you get comfortable doing it on your own.
Absolutely. That makes them more independent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the most rewarding thing with all the people that I touched, because that company had 20-something homes.
Wow.
So that one home that I worked at was my main home, but I also worked at other homes throughout the 20 years that I worked there.
Wow.
So, mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds very rewarding.
It is.
I mean,
it was.
It's always a good feeling when you can help somebody and you see an improvement.
Oh, Nikki.
Yeah.
I always tell people, like, working in the healthcare field, healing, being a catalyst to someone else's healing indirectly heals yourself if you allow it to, if you open up yourself to that experience. But it will happen, and it can happen, and it did happen for me. So
I mean, when you're doing things like that, there's always, in every experience, there's a lesson.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what Life Unscripted, is about. There is always a lesson in everything. Sometimes people miss lessons. Sometimes people, they get the lesson and they better themselves.
Yes.
Apply it to their life,
But thank God, as a God, we serve a God of another chance, right? That lesson will come back around, and you're like, you know what? I didn't learn it the first time around, but here it is, 3 years later, 6 years later, 20 years later. I got it. I got it.
I hear that. Yeah. So walk us through like a typical work day for you.
Okay, typical work day in training. Every training starts at 9 a.m. Okay. Some days I don't have trainings, and I'm preparing for the next training on those days. But a training day, let's see. Let me think about one that's jam-packed. Okay, so I have, right now, most of our trainings are virtual still, right? Okay. Giving the people the opportunity, because a lot of the people that we support, the direct care workers, they have their own families, right? So a lot of them are in their 20s, they're starting families themselves, they have young kids at home. So having classes offered online is
more convenient.
It's more convenient for them, yeah, and for us too, because we got to get these training numbers in, right? I train 600 people a year, so
wow.
So start the class at 9 virtually through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Class is about 4 hours long, so we'll conclude at 1. Then I'll typically gather grades and things, so there's an exam after every course, of course. And answer some phone calls. People call me, can you take a look at my resume? How does this look? Do you know any contacts over at this home place where you can put in a good word for me, things like that. Answer emails. It's pretty gravy. Wow. This training position is pretty gravy.
And it sounds like everything is sectioned.
And that's what I like. Yeah. I like order.
Yes.
I like order, and this position is very much that. So I feel like I thrive because of it.
Absolutely.
No surprises.
Listen.
Coming from being a direct care worker and working in the psych hospital, like where anything and everything pops off at any minute.
Order.
Exactly.
Yes, having order is major for me too. I mean, and even I'm gonna be honest, like everybody can handle. Well, some people can handle spontaneous things happening, like where they don't know what's coming at them. And for some time, I worked EMS. That is as spontaneous.
You feel wrong when it's not.
Yeah, you don't know what's coming.
Exactly.
It could be anything.
Oh my God.
But even in my job that I do right now, it's routine, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like knowing when I go home what my day is going to look like tomorrow based on how much work I got done today.
Yes. What do I have to do? What am I going to start with?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like I know that. Okay, I need to make calls tomorrow. I'm going to do that first thing in the morning from between 8 to 10, or 10 to 12. And then I'm going to go ahead and see patients, between 12 and 2. I like that.
It's structured. It's organized.
It's predictable.
It's predictable. Listen, and I'm not only like that at work. I'm pretty much like that in my personal life.
Oh, yeah.
If I schedule spontaneity, it's scheduled. So is that really spontaneous? If it's scheduled spontaneous? I'm going to be spontaneous from this time to this.
Yeah, and if it is, it's something that I really want. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not at the top of the list, then it's getting a date and a time.
Yes, saying? Exactly.
And that's just really how you keep order. I mean, because you can't be available for everything all the time. You just can't.
Exactly. So, my friends think I'm rigid because of it, but I feel comfortable in that space.
I can understand how they would feel like
they
that.
They do.
But
all the time. They never miss a chance to tell me.
But you know what? Ultimately, we as humans have to do what works for us. you know, and that's the main thing. And I really applaud you on that because,
Thank
you know,
you.
some people don't even know how to be firm on what they want for
That's because
themselves.
they don't know themselves. They're
Yeah.
going with the wind. They're trying to figure it out still, or
No.
either actively or inactively trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I, at some point in life, went inward and went from top to bottom. What is it about me that I like, what I don't like? Let me sort this out. Let me do more of that. And being rigid is one of those things that I try to adjust, but I can only adjust as much as I can adjust.
Yeah, and I mean, and rigid sounds so harsh. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I get why you're saying that. But honestly, I feel like in our lives, you know, everybody is busy, and a lot of people have a problem with saying no. And then it backfires.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, I should have did that.
Yes.
And I know I was hoping I had so much stuff I needed to do at home. I didn't even get a chance to get out and go do my grocery shopping to prepare for next week because I'm just. And then you beat yourself up about it. It's like I said I wasn't gonna do this.
I said I was gonna. You deny yourself. You break a promise to yourself, and that feels horrible. Meanwhile, the person whose birthday party or anniversary party you went to and stayed 8 hours, right? They're happy that you were there.
What kinds of certifications they gain from training?
So to start, direct care workers. So these are the caregivers that go into the homes of the people and do total care. In most cases, total care. Okay. So in order to have that position, you don't need any specified or specific licenses, except, of course, a high school diploma. But then when you get into the job, you'll come to me and be trained through Wayne County, Detroit Wayne Integrated Healthcare Network.
Now, is that something similar to like, is it MORC?
Yeah, that is Oakland's PIHP.
Okay.
So, and I work for the Wayne County version of MORC. So I was trained through MORC when I was a direct care support. So yeah, very similar. I work for CLS, Community Living Services, which is again, like I said, the Wayne County version of MORC. So, once hired in as a direct care support, you'll then go through all the trainings to get a certification as a direct caregiver. Okay. There's about 6 or 7 classes.
Now, does MORC, if you get that training, does that is that something you have to have, and do it allows you to make more money?
No, not necessarily. It allows you to stay at the job longer because if you kind of like fall through the cracks and not get trained, you won't get a paycheck after a while. So you have to have this training in order to maintain that position. However, depending on the company that you work for in particular, they may have a specified list of trainings that they want you to have. So they might want you to take, health class or medication course, but you don't necessarily have to take working with people or a nutrition course. Yeah. So it just all depends on who you work for.
Okay. So that's mandatory.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And also CPR is mandatory.
Oh, that has to be.
For sure.
You never know when somebody's going to go down.
And I find it so funny. It's a lot of people who come into my CPR class who are direct hires. So they are employed by someone who picks their own staff. And some of them are teachers. Some of them work for the school board. And I'm asking them questions like, is it mandated in the city that you work in to have CPR training? They're like, no, it's optional.
That's so strange.
Isn't
so you mean
it?
to tell me there's teachers out here that don't know CPR and they have children.
Care professionals, yes.
That's crazy.
Who look after children who may have, conditions that they're also living with.
You know why that's crazy to me? Because when you do babysitting, to get certified, you have to know CPR.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So how is it that you're out here being an educator and you are sitting with a classroom of 30 children that could
full
have
of
a
children,
allergy, that could
anything,
have asthma, anything.
You don't know the basic life-saving skills. You don't know how to help someone who's choking.
I guess
let alone if there needs
their
CPR.
duty is to call 911. I don't know, but that's crazy because there needs to be some type of intervention before 911.
Absolutely. What are we gonna do? Just sit here and watch this person?
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I don't know if it's just funding or what, but we got to do something different because that's not okay.
I don't like that.
It's terrible. Yeah. It really is.
What's the most rewarding part of helping caregivers and social workers? And I think you touched on one of the things that was rewarding for you. A little.
Yeah. Let me see, Nikki. It all is really, I think, from my point of view, what would be rewarding is giving these, because a lot of kids, or I don't want to say kids, they're not kids, they're adults, but they're starting off at the age that I was, 19, 20, 21 years old, right? Young adults. So kind of like pouring into them and giving them a little bit of a foreshadow into what your future could be like is very rewarding. Because some of them come to me and they say, you know what, how do I become a trainer? I would like to do that. And I talk to them about, your path and the soft skills that you need to learn and hone in on that will, warrant you getting to this point. So just being able to pour into somebody who was once where I was is probably the most rewarding. Yeah.
And I know it seems like you are a very thorough person, so it's nice that they're encountering a thorough person, because we all
that goes along with the rigid.
Listen, okay. You know how it is though. You get to a new job. Everybody has been there probably several times. You get to a new job and you encounter the person that's training you that is not thorough, and once they leave you and you're on your own, it's like, okay,
you'll be able to see
you doing your work, and then here come a supervisor or a manager like, well, you didn't do this, and it's like, well, what do you mean? What is that?
I know anything about it. Exactly.
So they're getting, a thorough training from you.
Absolutely.
And because I am a firm believer of when you train somebody, however you train them, if it's the right way or the wrong way, it's hard to break those habits.
Nikki, that's so true. It's so true. So being able in my trainings for 4 hours, I've got these people, probably 30, at the most, maybe 50 people at a time. I'm talking to you all about, how to be compassionate if you aren't already compassionate, right?
Yeah.
But then throwing in those little nuggets about real life, right? That makes this work relatable, or it makes your connection to me relatable.
Yes.
Like the things that you're dealing with, you're not in it by yourself. I've been there too. Even though I don't have any kids, I know what it's like to be juggling your life and also taking care of these 3 grown people at work and being responsible for these people.
They're all duties.
All duties.
Even if it's kids, it doesn't matter what it is. Some people have, duties to take care of their grandparents or their parents. Duty is a duty.
And you're going to have them all throughout life.
Oh, for sure.
Hone in on that skill right now and conquer it now so that you'll be a pro by the time you're my age.
And they're starting young too, so that's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
A chance to figure out, okay, I like this, kind of like you did. You knew immediately. You walked in there and you said, oh no, this ain't it. I'm shutting this down. I'm not. Nursing is out.
It's out.
What's next?
What's next? What else can I do? Let me think about it.
Transfer these credits to
yes,
you.
exactly.
So and that's the one reason why I'm doing this podcast too, is because any body out here, doesn't matter young or old, if you want to transition into a different career, it's never too late. I do not believe in being in something you're miserable.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're waking up every morning and you're miserable going to this job. Well, the only person that can change that is you. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to do Life Unscripted and to focus on careers, trades, because even if you're not a college person, if college isn't for you, you can still learn a trade. You can still, if a job doesn't require you to have a trade, you can still go into that job, at an entry level.
Yes.
And you can still
work your way up.
You can work your way up.
Shoot
and
like a rocket.
Out with the trade, and you didn't even have to pay for it.
Nikki, I would argue that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
As opposed to a college degree these days. Times have changed. Graduating with a college degree is.
It's like the burden of what comes after you graduate with a college degree, and depending on what you're majoring in. Because if you're majoring in something that is not going to get you a job when you get out, so now you're looking, okay, I got this piece of paper, this is sitting on a wall, I can see it every day, I walk past it every day, but it's not making me no money. It's not even allowing me to pay back the money I borrowed to get it. And that's the problem there.
Exactly. Which is why I say trade work might be the way to go, because immediately, as soon as you graduate, you're marketable for a job that's going to pay above the minimum wage. You know what I mean? So
and just for those who are listening, you know, even if you have children that's in high school,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to wait until you're out of high school to get a trade, and you don't have to wait until you're out of high school to start your liberal arts.
Absolutely
You don't
not.
have to wait. You can start early.
And though they still have that dual program where while you're in high school you can get an associate degree.
My niece did the dual program
Amazing.
at WC3.
Yeah.
She went to Cass Tech, and she had an associate's degree. She actually graduated. We went to her graduation for WC3 when she graduated from high school. Then we did she graduated from U of M.
Okay.
And we went to her U of M graduation. And I'm like, wow, okay, she's done wrong. Got an associate's degree. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. So if she watching this, she'll be like, you got it.
Rewind it back.
No. When she graduated from Cass Tech, she had an associate's degree coming out of Cass Tech.
A high school diploma and an associate's
degree. That was the graduation. That was a double.
Right there. How awesome.
Yes, and then after that, then she did the bachelor's program, got a full ride scholarship at U of M, turned around, got another full ride for the master's degree program.
Now that's how you do college.
Straight A's.
That's how you do college. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
That's beautiful.
Oh yeah. I mean, straight
a complete
A's.
setup.
Yes.
That's amazing.
But that's the thing, you know, we gotta set kids up early.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Put them in programs. Even, I'm not even saying high school. You got kids out here in other states. I'm not even going out the country. You got kids out here in other states where parents are starting to set them up early. You know what I'm saying? As soon as, like, they're in elementary.
Yes.
And they're
And
teaching
definitely by junior high. Yes.
I seen a guy on Instagram the other day. He does cement, you know, or masonry. And he has this little 3-year-old out there grading cement.
Wow.
I could not believe it.
That's sweet.
If that's the correct term, the little 3-year-old was out there smoothing the cement out. And I said, wow. And he enjoys it because kids at that age, they're sponges. They love
learning,
watching and mimicking what their parents is doing and stuff. So getting them started early, because that little boy, when he when he's in the 5th grade, 10 years old or whatever, he's going to be making money.
That was you, Nikki.
It was. It was me. I mean, it's crazy because, you know, my dad had me out there with him doing everything. I was a daddy's girl. My daddy had me with him everywhere he went, you know, at a young age. And he, you know, it wasn't even to the point where I had to ask, you know, he like, come on, let's go.
It's
he saw it. Wherever you seen Charles, you saw Mickey, you know. So, yeah, you know, I think it's very important to get your kids involved in whatever it is you're doing, even if it's nursing, even if it's social work. Teach them the basics of that. You
Absolutely.
know? So I'm coming home with some paperwork. So this is what I do for this.
After
you know?
work.
So start filling this out. You know.
Yes.
And start teaching them about the world. You know, teach them about how to pay bills, like little things
yes,
that kids
Nikki.
need to start learning at a young age.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even if they don't follow in your exact footsteps, they have that discipline there, right? To sit down and do this, or sit down and. Or, you know, whatever it is that they have learned from you being in your career.
Absolutely.
Because you have this kid right next to you watching everything. They're going to pick up on not only what you're doing, but how you're doing it, your attitude while you're doing it, the time you're taking to do it, how important you feel this is.
Yeah.
All of that is going to be transferred onto them.
And then you're giving it to them early. And for me, I think that takes away the anxiety of adulthood, too. Because, you know, if, you know, we all experience anxiety. You know, we're in our last year of high school, and we know your mama responsible for you under the age of 18.
Exactly. Yep.
After that, whatever you do, it's on you.
Yes.
So, mama ain't going to jail. You going to jail.
Do something crazy if you want to.
Right?
They're not coming here for me. They're going to say your name.
Taking out that anxiety, though, you know, there's going to be some anxiety when you become an adult.
For sure, because it's a change. It's a transition.
Exactly. Your experience with a trainee that reminded you why your work mattered.
Oh, so many. Oh, there's so many. I feel like after each class, I get someone who's like, Miss Brittany, that was so great. I didn't think about this in that way, or I didn't think about that in this way. Thank you for this training. Meanwhile, I'm just like, is it 1 o'clock yet? So I think, I don't know, Nikki. I don't know if I can think of one in particular. Just the whole experience lets me know that all the work that I've done to get here hasn't been in vain. For the simple fact that literally after every single class, somebody is telling me how they were moved by something I said, or how something I said caused them to think about a thing in a different way. And that's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, you reach somebody.
I want to prick the heart.
One person.
Exactly.
Wow. Have you ever had to help someone who was struggling to succeed? And I know you kind of touched on that a little bit. How did you handle that?
Oh man.
That's the hard part of your job.
Yeah, and it's sad sometimes. There was one particular incident. There was a young man. He came in. This is a CPR class. It was in person, and his disposition was just off. I don't know what had happened before he came into class, but he was just not into it. Had a mean mug, everything. So I knew when I saw him walking in class, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. So me being me, I tried to like joke with him, ask him some kind of, probing questions. What's going on? How your day been? All these things, right? Things that I wouldn't normally do, just to try to break the ice with him, because I saw that he had this barrier up. Yeah. And that didn't work. So I went on, proceeded with the class, explained to them how this is a very demonstrative class. You're going to have to be extremely participatory in order to pass, right? There's no exam after this class. The test is in the class. So after thoroughly explaining that to him, because I mean, not to him in particular, but to the class, and making sure that he knew that, right? We proceeded with the course, and he did not participate. I could not get him to bend. So
he didn't do any compression?
Nothing. He literally was standing there. He stood when I asked the class to stand, but when he stood, he was just there, like putting his hands in his pocket, just kind of looking at the mannequin. Wow. I'm like, do you think this is going to warrant you passing? I hope not, because it's not. So I saw that he wasn't doing it, and then I kind of had to pull him to the side. And, well, no, the first time, because I was trying, Nikki. I tried so hard. I came and whispered in his ear, not to embarrass him, because we're all adults. Like, you have a bad day. Reiterated, in order to pass, you got to do these techniques, all of this. So he said, okay, cool.
He agreed to it.
So then I went back to the front of the class, showed another video. It was time to do another practice. Let's stand all again, and nothing. So I said, such and such, can I see you outside for a second? I'm like, you guys continue practicing. We went outside, and he was just like on 10,000 as soon as he walked out of the door. I don't know what the F, where are we coming outside? I'm doing everything you asking me to do, like just completely unraveled, right? So by this time, my coworkers are hearing, right? So they're coming around the corner. They're like, are you okay? What's going on? So I'm telling him, I'm like, obviously today is not the day for you to complete this class. I'm going to sign you up for another course. Give me a call after today, but we're done here at this point. So he was, of course, upset about that. I'm going to get fired if I don't have this class, And I'm like, well, that might be a good thing, because if you have this disposition here with me, I shudder to think how you are with the people that you support in their homes in private. Right. So he didn't like that, of course. And I say what's on my mind. I package it up nicely where it's appropriate to be said, but you're going to get it. It needs to be said. Wow. So, needless to say, my supervisor contacted his the place of employment and told what went on while I was teaching the class. Wow. So then his boss called me after I was done with the class to, get a better bird's eye view of what happened. I told her, and, also recommended that he take some time off, because I don't know what's going on in your personal life, or what is preventing you from doing CPR. Not even doing it, practicing CPR. And whatever it is, I know that it's going to, affect the work that you're doing in the homes of these people that we support. Because if you're going off on me like this, a vulnerable person who needs your care,
what are you doing to them? Yeah, oh my God.
So,
wow. That's a lot.
Wasn't it?
That is a
Listen,
lot.
That day I didn't talk to anybody when I got home.
That's one of them days I'm talking about. Like, man, no. Oh my God. What's the biggest misconception people have about social work and caregiver training?
That is hard. It's not hard. It's not hard at all.
I hear that a lot.
It's not hard at all. It's a lot. It could be a lot, but listen.
Healthcare is a lot.
Healthcare is a lot.
Yeah.
And these trainings are paid for through Detroit Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. Get this certification so that you can go on to do more things, right? Mm-hmm. So people think it's hard. It requires care. Yeah. It requires attention, just like any other course that you're going to take is. But not even that much, because you don't need to study. You just need to be present for these 4 hours that we're here in this class. Pass this exam, you have your certification.
Wow.
One day.
Wow, and that's a trade.
A trade, yeah.
Wow.
You can take this anywhere in Wayne County, and then if you're going to Oakland County or somewhere else, you go through Mork for the same training.
And let me ask you, and for the people too, with that training and the certification?
There's a series of them.
Okay.
So there's all of the courses, which are about 7 courses, 6 or 7 courses, and then you have a completion for each class.
Gotcha. Okay. And once you get all those certificates and stuff, is there other jobs that you can do outside of working in the home?
Yeah, you can do respite care. Like if you have a family member who needs care from a certified direct care worker, those are the same transferable certifications. You can go and do work as a CNA, though you won't have that title. It's probably more coursework that you would need to take, which probably is only CPR, right? I don't know for sure, but it's only maybe 1 or 2 more courses.
Because the SEMA program is not that long.
It's like, what, 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like okay.
Coursework is easy peasy. If you graduated high school, you can graduate from these courses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So that gives you, with that, and I'm sure there's a few more things you could probably do. So it gives you some wiggle room.
Yes.
Around.
And so many places, so many different, it's hundreds, Nikki, in Wayne County alone of companies that provide care for individuals who are in need.
Wow.
Hundreds. So you now have access to all of these different places where you can put 100 applications in for all of these places and work. And some people work at multiple places, right? They work at this home for this company, and then they work at this other home or these other 3 homes for this other company.
Wow. And is that something, it sounds like if you get those certifications, it's something that you could probably build as a business and work independently too.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I actually was going to do that at one point, but just didn't. But
you want to take the time to actually go ahead and build the business and get the state requirements in and everything. You can have your own business.
Yes,
and get
absolutely.
A contract with the state.
Yes, Nikki. Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. What are some personality traits that make someone successful in your profession?
Ooh.
I think we covered
compassion
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Compassion, number 1. Being honest, full of integrity.
Integrity is a must.
Integrity is a must because you're in these sacred places, the homes of the people that we support. These are their own personal homes, right? So you have to be a trustworthy, integral person.
You're stealing people's belongings,
which happens so often.
They're vulnerable, So
can't be stealing. You got to be respectful of this person's space, right? Let's say if you needed a person that was a caregiver to come into your house, you gonna want them smelling like weed or drinks before they come to work? Probably not, right? I don't want them on the phone arguing with their boyfriend in my house.
And that happens a lot.
Yes, yes.
People need to understand when you're doing this type of work or any type of work, you need to put yourself in their shoes.
Absolutely.
Would you want someone coming into your mom's home like that?
No. On no day.
Or,
not even myself.
Yeah, or even what you mentioned in integrity. When you're dealing in healthcare, you're dealing with people's personal information. Now that's really when integrity comes in.
Man, and you're on video, you're on social media with the person that you're supporting behind.
That's in the medical field, you can't, that's a HIPAA violation.
You're going to get fired.
You're going to get fired.
As you should.
We have a lot of people's health information at our fingertips. And, you can't be taking pictures, recording, or, shaming somebody or doing any of that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because, again, ultimately, we're all patients. Everybody in this world is a patient, which means everybody has access to your personal
information. Yes.
So integrity. Definitely.
It's huge, huge.
Yeah, and I know, compassion, that goes hand in hand with integrity.
And then being able to go the extra mile. That's going to set you apart as a caregiver.
Yeah.
Being someone who does more than just your duties, right?
For sure.
Doing it with a smile, using the gentle approach, right? Talking nicely to someone, engaging, getting to know who this person really is beyond their condition, right? Who are they as a person? What's their culture like? What times of the day do they like to get up, right?
Yeah. And the intent should always be to help make somebody's life better.
Absolutely. Their life. Not what you think their life should be.
Yeah.
What they want their life to be like.
Yes, absolutely. And that comes with just getting to know a person, just taking the time, like you said, to talk to them.
That engagement piece is really important.
Yeah, engaging, and let them do the talking. Lots of times, if you be quiet, you can learn a lot about a person.
Listen. That's another skill. You need to know how to listen. Actively listen.
Actively listening. Not listening to reply.
Oh boy. I need to write a curriculum on that and develop a training on that. Oh my goodness.
I learned a lot of people have selective hearing. They do.
Nikki.
I
and we'll replace things.
Oh my God. and then you're like, well, I know I didn't say that because our protocol.
That doesn't even align. I don't think that right now. So I know I didn't say it then.
Yeah, no. I couldn't even cut corners with this. So I know I didn't say that. What are you saying? But yeah, just listening to people is major. And I'm not even talking about work. I'm talking about in life.
Yes, ma'am.
If you listen to people with whatever you're doing in life, listening to people tell you a lot about how their financial responsibility is. Yes. How do they have compassion? Doing your background work, listening.
Some questions you won't even have to ask.
Background check, just listen.
If you listen well, you don't even have to ask a question.
Listen, you ain't exactly. People will tell you everything you want to know. You know what I'm saying? And then if you ask the right questions,
you even more set up.
You already know.
You don't have to ask anymore.
You can
no follow-up questions.
Press play or pass.
That's right. You've been able to ascertain all you need to know from a few questions.
Yeah, absolutely. What certifications and licenses are required for your particular profession?
Well, training, definitely a degree, a bachelor's degree, social work too, in any human service field, so social work, psychology, sociology even, but mostly, more than that, is experience.
Okay.
Being able to connect with people, those soft skills that a lot of people don't have these days, you know what I mean? It's important, it's very important. To be able to connect with different kinds of people, because caregivers are all kind of folks, right? Coming from all different kinds of backgrounds. So having that skill will definitely set you apart from anybody else in the field and set you up for success as a trainer.
Absolutely. So where can people connect with you to learn more about your work, or even if they wanted to reach out to you just for some advice or some resources or anything?
Well, contact Nikki. Nikki will let me know that someone wants to get in contact with me. Phone, email, whichever. I usually don't put stuff like this on social media, so yeah. If you need me, beat Nikki and she'll let me know.
Absolutely, I definitely will. I mean, I do have an email. For those of you who don't know, it is listed on my Instagram.
Okay.
So it is, life.unscripted.
Okay.
26@gmail.com. If you have any questions, looking for any resources, because I'm sure Brittany is full of resources.
Tons.
You can email me, and I can then forward your email to Brittany, and she can reach out to you.
That's perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me today on Life Unscripted. It was really good talking to you, and it's so wild that your field covers a lot of daily life things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I hope we were able to provide a lot of information for everyone out here.
Yes.
And that you've actually learned something and you can take something with you today. Or maybe it's not for you, but you can give it to somebody else.
For sure, absolutely.
So
we need us. We need us.
We do. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Nikki. I appreciate you.
No problem. And you gotta come back and see us.
I
again,
sure
too.
will. This is fun.
I got a feeling it's gonna be another position you're gonna be doing in the near future.
You're right.
So.
This is
Thanks
so fun.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.